Okay, clarinets. Day two here, and we are going to talk about how to play some notes on your instrument. One thing that I want to recommend before we do that is I have my clarinet all put together here, and I've been soaking on my reed for a good minute. Again, remember, if you have a newer reed, what you want to do is you want to rub that spit into the wood, okay? As the reed gets older, you can kind of tell that the water is in there, that all the holes are sealed in the wood. And hopefully you got your clarinet together. Again, if you have a brand new clarinet, you might have to have somebody help you get it put together. And you're going to have to probably put cork grease on your instrument on a daily basis to get it to all go together. On a one that's been used a while, it's a little bit easier. I mean, you can, it comes off and on pretty easy. So use the cork grease whenever it stops being easy to put apart and take together, or put together and take apart. All right, so what I'm going to recommend when what you do is you always have everything put together and except for the reed. And the reed will be the last thing you want to do because you don't want to wreck it. You don't want to bump into it. Now these reeds are not cheap. I mean, for clarinet reeds, I believe they're $2, probably $2 a piece. Okay, and you want this reed to last a good 2 weeks. Okay, and what I recommend is that you take out your clarinet reed holder and you put about 3 or 4 reeds in there, and you just kind of use different reeds each day. Kind of rotate through them because that'll make the reeds last longer. All right, so I'm going to lift up my ligature. Remember, you have to have it loose. Okay, so notice this is tight right now, so I want to loosen it up so that there's like space in between here. See that right there? Okay, so that I can get the reed to go underneath. Again, when the ligature should fit on your clarinet like this. If your ligature is like this, then you got it wrong. So make sure that you check that. Now I know some of you are probably going to have that like that right now. So right now is the time to change it so that it falls down. Okay, most of you guys are going to have screws on the right side of your ligature. Every once in a while you'll have one that has left-handed screws, but the screws are on the right side. So if you try to put it in the other way, on the opposite side, it's probably not going to work. Okay, you lift up the ligature, you slide the reed down. It's kind of hard to see that. Okay, lift up the ligature, you slide the reed down underneath the ligature there, and then you use your thumb to push it up and down. Trying to get a good camera shot. It's hard to do. Okay, your thumb kind of raises it and lowers it, and then you use the side of your hands to kind of push it back and forth like that. Okay. And then when you're done, notice how I just have a little bit of reed there. I don't have a lot. In other words, my screws aren't tight, and so that it's way up here. Okay, if you have it way up too high, your reed's not going to make a good sound. You want to have that lower so that there's just a little bit showing. You want to see some though. Don't have it completely all the way down. And then tighten up your ligature with the screws. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our right thumb and put it underneath our thumbie. Okay, and that's that little foam piece that kind of keeps your finger comfortable. Put your 3 fingers on the bottom. Now the pinky just kind of sits on top of these keys, okay? We're just going to kind of rest it around there. You're going to put your thumb in the back hole there, and these 3 fingers there, just like that. All right, now the first thing that I always tell my clarinet players to do is you want to be able to feel the metal all the way around your finger. When you're pushing it down, you want to feel metal. So right now I can tell that I'm touching that entire circle. Okay, so I'm going to actually push as hard as I can on the circles. Okay, you hold that for about 10 seconds and then you look at them and you can see circles. You can see that on my fingers. Okay, you want to see a complete circle. If you don't, what that means is that that finger is not covering the hole enough. Okay, so if I'm you can see, you can kind of see, I'm not covering that hole. I got to move that finger over so that it completely covers that hole. Then if I do, then I got a nice complete round circle. All right, now there are a couple keys that you have to make sure that you avoid when you're pushing your 3 and 3. You'll notice that this key right here kind of is on the side there. When I'm pushing my first finger down, I want to make sure I'm not bumping that. Okay, if you bump that, you're going to get a squeak. Okay, so make sure that you are getting your finger to be it's kind of like a flat C, but it's a little bit rounded so that I can get around that. You can see that in this picture. I'm not pushing it down like this. I'm not keeping my hands flat. I have to round them a little bit. Okay, the other mistake that sometimes we get is these 4 keys. These are right next to this finger. So sometimes your hand is in a weird shape or whatever, and you kind of rest it on this key. You don't want to be touching that key at all. Okay, so you kind of want to have your hands, your fingers parallel to the ground. You don't want to be like this. Okay, we want to have them kind of parallel to the ground, not angled. Now, how do you know if you're doing all this stuff right? Well, you just look in the mirror. Okay, so push your fingers down, your 6 fingers, then hold it up to a mirror and see, okay, are my hands kind of straight or are they angled? Okay, now if you're like this, then your chances are your elbows are up. Okay, when you play clarinet, you want to have your elbows just nice and down against your body here. Okay, now you don't want to have your elbows, it's hard to see, but you don't want to have your elbows sitting here on your knees like this. Okay, we got to sit up so that we're not doing that, and our elbows are just kind of comfortable like that. All right. So, what we're going to do is our first note that we're going to play is the letter E, and what you're going to, E is like, if you look at the 5 lines in the treble clef staff, every good boy deserves fudge, every E is the bottom one, right? Bottom line. And E is going to be thumb and first finger. Okay, now again, I'm making sure I'm not bumping this key right there. Okay, you can see that I'm kind of going over it so I don't touch it. Now your bottom hand, when you play, is going to be, thumb is going to be here like this, and your fingers are going to be up around the clarinet but not pushing anything. So basically this is what it looks like. Just, okay, keep your fingers kind of around the instrument. Now you get your, hopefully your reed is wet. Remember you say M and then U, and then you roll your bottom lip over your teeth. And what I like to do is I kind of like pretend I'm a witch. And you know how a witch's chin is all pointed, kind of like pointy? Okay, and I put right down the middle there, I put 50-50-50 kind of on the middle of the reed there, right on that bottom lip. Like that. Teeth go on the top, and just a little bit on the top. We don't want a whole lump, just a little bit on the top. Okay, and then I firm up the corners of my mouth here, seal this tight. Push down that first finger and go. Okay. So right now I'm gonna end the video here. What I want you to do is just kind of practice seeing if you can get that first note, the E. And then after that, you want to watch the next video and I will talk about how to go down and play the D and the C. All right, good luck.